Hello and welcome Year 8. In this video we'll have a look at equations with grouping symbols. Now a grouping symbol is an expression that involves our set of brackets, and what we are going to do is solve for our unknown x. Alright, just some instructions about this video. So the unknown in this particular equation is t, and what this is actually saying is 6 multiplied by whatever's inside the brackets is equal to 18. Now we know 6 lots of a particular number is 18, 6 by 3. So essentially we need to work out the set of brackets inside to be equal to 3. That's one particular way. Another way is we can expand the brackets. So 6 multiplied by t, 6 multiplied by -7, so let's expand that, and we end up getting 6t, which was the 6 times t, and then 6 times -7, which is -42. Now this has now become a two-step equation. We started off with an equation with grouping symbols, we've removed those, and now we have a two-step equation. So if we thought about what's happening with the t, it's being multiplied by 6, then we are taking 42 away. Now if we looked at that as a process, and we've done this with our two-step equations, so we've got our 6, so we start off with our t, we multiplied that by, let me just fix that up, so start off with the t, to get to a 6t, we multiplied by 6, and then to get a 6t take away 42, we subtracted the 42. So if we are going to start off with our 6t take away 42 to go back to 6t, the inverse operation is we add 42, and then to get back to our t, so we want to work out what t is, we divide by 6, which was the inverse of multiplying by 6. So our next step in our equation is to add to both sides 42, and then these would disappear. It equates to 0, -42 plus 42 is 0, and 18 plus 42 is 60. So 6 lots of a number, t, is equal to 60. One lot will be calculated by dividing by what number? If you divided both sides by 6, or you said divided by 6, fantastic. And then our 6t divided by 6 works out to be 1t, and 1t is equal to 60 divided by 6, which is 10. Now, we said earlier that 6 lots of 3 is equal to 18. 6 lots of 3, and something take away 7 was going to be equal to 3, and that's why we ended up with an answer of 10, and that's what our expression was equal to 18. Alright, copy that into your books as example 1. Example 2 is something that I want you to have a go at. So copy down the question and follow the first examples process and see how you go with this particular question. Alright, how do we end up going? Hopefully you expanded the brackets by doing 4 multiplied by 2x, 4 multiplied by +1, which is 8x plus 4, and that equals 36. And now we've got that two-step equation. Start off with the x, multiply by 8, then add 4. So the inverse of that, going backwards, we end up taking 4 away and then dividing by 8. So subtract 4 from both sides of the equation. End up with 8x equals 36, take away 4, and then divide by 8 to leave you with 1x equals 32 divided by 8, which is 4. How did you go with that equation? Now, once you end up with an answer, get in the habit of substituting. So getting the answer, replacing it back with the x in the original statement to see that your equation has been solved correctly. Alright, two harder types. Have a go at these two. As practice, pause the video and then have a look at the solution once you've completed both of these. Alright, so why number 3 is harder is because once you've removed the brackets, you end up getting an equation with variables, or pronumerals, on both sides. So here we go, we end up getting an equation where we have something with an x on both sides. Now, whatever step you take next is totally up to you. You might want to add 7x to both sides. You might want to add 8x to both sides. I'm going to focus on this 10 and work with this one. So that's a positive 10. Remember, this negative value, subtraction, is working with this 8x. So that belongs with this, remembering our like terms. So if we looked at like terms back when we studied algebra, the values at the front, the plus and minus, they belong with the expression straight after it. Now there's no plus right here, but we don't have to write a plus with any positive values. As we've seen with many numbers before, this is a plus 10. So what's the opposite of adding 10? We're going to subtract 10 from both sides. This will turn to 0. So we've got 8x is equal to 3 take away 10, which is negative 7, and then this gets carried down. And now we want to make sure that the numbers are on one side and all the pronumerals are on the other. So if I want to make the pronumerals on this side, the left-hand side, I need to work with this, negative, or take away 7x. So I need to do the same thing to both sides, but I want to do the opposite of taking 7x away. So adding 7x to both sides, that will disappear. Now I've got an expression that says negative x is equal to negative 7. Remembering, whenever we have just an x or a negative x, there's an imaginary number or an invisible number that's not written. And in this case, this is a negative 1x. So this equation we need to divide by negative 1. And once we've done that, we end up getting x is equal to 7. Alright, that was a more complicated one because we ended up getting an equation with variable pronumerals on both sides. So that's why it was a little bit more challenging. Alright, let's have a look at number 4. So expanding the brackets, we end up getting 12t. Take away 20 is equal to 8t. And you'll notice here we don't have a number on the right-hand side. So what we can do is either move this to the other side by adding 20 to both sides, or move this 12t to the other side. Now that would be easier. I didn't do it that way, but it would have been easier by subtracting 12t from both sides. However, I added 20 to both sides. By adding 20, I eliminate this section, negative 20 plus 20. And then I'm going to subtract 8t from both sides to get rid of this 8t. And then divide by 4 to leave us with just t as the single expression. Now, I could have back at the top, right here where it says 12t take away 20 is equal to 8t. I could have, at this point, subtracted 12t from both sides. So take away 12t, take away 12t, that would go, and then I end up getting my equation that says negative 20 is equal to negative 4t. and then if you divide both sides by -4, you end up getting the answer much quicker. I probably should have done it that way. However, I just wanted to keep the values of t positive, hence why I did this step right here. Alright, thanks for watching that video, and hopefully that helped you with equations that have grouping symbols.